all of you. This is so exciting and unbelievable. We thought, well, we'd have a little intimate group of 30, and that would be fine, and we'd really discuss things. And then this person had to come, and that person had to come. So that here you all are, and my husband, Carl, who's at the videotape, and my daughter, Colette, want to wave? And I all want to welcome you.
Thank you.
And what a diverse and interesting group of people you are. So you must get to know each other. It's very wonderful who you all are. And we're squished because it was important that each of you be here. We're glad that each and every one of you are here. So hopefully we can celebrate our fullness. Please go outside to get a little breath of air and to get some food and to sit on, out there too after the presentation. We cannot take time for individual introductions, but I hope you will network and explore the wealth of capacity and motivation that is in this room. Each of you has heard about this event because someone who knew you and thought you should be here has notified you. So thank you very much for coming. In a moment, Bruce Hostetter will be telling you about our day. You also have an agenda. But I wanted to first mention that please turn off your cell phones. And our first opportunity for recycling and sustainability is to recycle these. Stephanie, who was quieting you all down, wants these back. So please turn them back on the table. When you're done, we reuse them. And with that, let's welcome Bruce to tell about the day.
Thank you. When I was standing at the door and people were coming in and people began to mix, I thought, wow, this is such positive energy. You bring such positive energy. It's so interesting to see everybody, a lot of people who don't know each other, mingling. Before I describe what's going to happen today, I'd like to tell you a little story because I think this story is relevant to what's happening perhaps for each one of you. This is my story about Anders, and it really began back in January when I got a call from Stephanie Barger. And she said, hey, there's this really amazing architect who's going to be in town, and I won't be here to connect with him, but maybe you could call some people and get them together so that you could meet with them and you can see what amazing things he's doing in Sweden. And I thought, oh great, this is Friday. She wants me to get together with this guy on Saturday. My weekends are already impacted. Just what I need is one more thing to do. But I thought, well, I can't say no to Stephanie, and it does sound, right? It's hard to say no to Stephanie, and it's, and I thought, maybe this is going to be a worthwhile thing. So I emailed some people that I know in the LA chapter and the Orange County chapter of USGBC. I'm involved in the U.S. Green Building Council. And lo and behold, we got a small group of people together, and we came, and we're just delighted to learn about things that I had never seen. I thought I knew a lot about green building and sustainable architecture, and I was witnessing things that I'd never heard of. And one of the things that you're all going to be able to share in is a new appreciation for toilets when you leave. And I'll leave that to Anders to explain. But anyway, we had a great day. I came away feeling very rewarded for the effort and glad that I did, and I was glad that I met Anders. And then about a month later, Diane Hoppy Fletcher calls and says, Anders is going to come back and do some consulting. And when he's here, I'd like to open up my home and get a group of people that can come and share in what he's doing. And I thought, okay, that sounds good. And then I realized I was committing myself to yet another huge investment in time and a commitment to try to help network and bring together all of you. And I want to thank the people who helped in that networking process, certainly Stephanie Barger and Jim Leahy from the U.S. Green Building Council, and Teresa, where's Teresa Young with Arcosi, and a number of other people who, Carolina Goodman in the back, we need to give her a hand because she has been there from the beginning, putting together the list. But here I am committing to yet another endeavor with somebody I don't even really know, Diane Fletcher Hoppy. But I have to tell you, she's become one of my good friends.
Very quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. We discovered we have a lot of things in common, but certainly her passion and her generosity and her willingness to bring all of you together, because it's through her and her foundation that she's making this possible for all of us to be here to meet Anders. And I just am very impressed with what she's done. So we need to give her a hand. So Anders is here. Yesterday he was in San Diego. We went down as a group. We met at the San Diego Foundation, and we were able to make connections with some people in the city of San Diego, looking at possibilities for things like green districts in the redevelopment areas. We're looking for opportunities today, people, you who are gathered here, to think about applications in your world and what you're doing to do what Anders really wants to do, which is to build a sustainable world. And that's what most of you are doing. It's probably what all of us are trying to do, is build a sustainable world. So this is an opportunity to put our heads together and find connections. Next week, Anders is going to be going to Northern California. Janet Gibson, who's here from Northern California, chapter of the U.S. Green Building Council, I'm sorry, not Northern California, Redwood Empire, and also an employee of USGBC is going to escort them and has organized some events up there with the Redwood Empire chapter and also with a company called Kima Green. So why don't you raise your hands or stand up, Janet? All right. So with that, I'd like to go ahead. I love the energy. So with that, I want to go ahead and describe what we have planned for today. You all have an agenda, but just to clarify it, what we're going to be doing is having about 2 hours for a presentation. Within that 2 hours, we'll have question and answers, maybe beginning around noon. And that will lead into discussions. In the afternoon, we have a charrette plan. The charrette is going to consist of some breakout sessions. We don't know how many circles there'll be. We don't know what the topics are going to be. All of that will be determined by you and the discussion that we have at the end of the presentation. So what we want to do is try to gather the interest, gather the projects, the things that you're working on, and see if we can't coalesce into 2 groups or 3 groups. So from 1:30 to 4 o'clock, we'll have the breakout sessions. We'll get back together, and I'll explain more about the details on that when we get close to lunch, when we get into the discussion. So from 12:30 to 1:30, it's networking. I don't know if you want to tell people where restrooms are,
Yes,
other kind of things.
I was just about to do
okay,
that.
good. So when I hand this back over to Diane Fletcher, she can give you some details on that. But that's basically the question, or basically the details of the agenda. How many people know that they can't stay for the afternoon? Okay, so there may be 15 or 20. Okay, good. All right, so we'll have a good group that will be able to stay and take part in the charrette. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Diane.
Well, bathrooms are going to be a big topic of discussion, so let's start with our own bathrooms. There's one here. We have only 3 for all of you, so make sure you take care of your own needs quickly, because you may end up finding a line. There's one downstairs right around the corner, and there are 2 upstairs, one right around the corner to the left, and then down the hall and to the left in the corner. So hope we can all work it out. Yes?
4 chairs. We have 4 empty chairs.
Oh, there's some chairs here. Yes, so people need some chairs. Good point. Now, I wanted to talk to you. Everybody comfortable? Okay. I wanted to say one more very important person who's here. That guy with the beard in the back, standing. That's Brian Greenfield. He is the designer for this house. Wanted you to know that. Anders has been fundamentally and passionately involved with ecological design for 40 years. He has understood that to create a path to a sustainable future requires that we build our communities in a new way. He has been devising new ways and studying the results so as to keep on learning and improving. That's a very key part, as you will see. Anders works in a comprehensive and systemic way that places any building project firmly within an ecological context that includes a social vision for how the building will be used and how the building will be built, how the building will be powered, and what will happen to the building, and its materials when its lifespan will be reached. Anders calls this approach eco-cycle adapted design. It's a mouthful, but it's a good set of words. Anders will share with us today his experience with new school buildings, industry clusters, innovative building systems, single-family homes, and large commercial buildings. You can't hear me? Oh my goodness. All right. I am so sorry. Well, let me, you see, the videotape can hear me. We've got it's mic'd, but you're not mic'd. Okay, let me pitch my voice higher. Sorry. Anders will share with us today his experience with, can you hear me now? Okay, with new school buildings, industry clusters, innovative building systems, and single-family homes and large commercial buildings for corporate clients. Many of these buildings are visited by people from around the world because it's very important to see that, hey, these ideas are real. These projects have been in existence now for long enough to provide accurate and significant performance data. And Anders will share this with us. What's this?
It's another microphone. See that guy back there?
Uh-huh.
So
He's filming too.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Am I filming too?
Anders' work is now spreading. Toyota, for instance, has been working with Anders and has made an agreement that all Toyota dealerships in Europe, all of Europe, and Russia will be based on his eco-psycho adapted designs. Yeah, pretty exciting. Some of his systems are now being produced by other independent companies for commercial use. These systems are ready to go. He has no financial ties to these products. They are outcomes of his generous sharing. Today, he will share information about such systems, and we believe many of them will be applicable here in Southern California. If you turn to your guest list, you will see a number of systems. Now, Anders did not create all of those, but he participated in some of them. And those systems at the very end of your guest list are ready to go. These are things that you don't have to do major changes, huge changes, right? Some are bigger, some are littler, but it's right there for you to use. In Anders' own words, I am very open-minded about what I have learned from my projects. I have no secrets. I share my experience with my colleagues and get much more from them. We are in a hurry if we want to hand over a sustainable future to our children and grandchildren. End of quote. We're all in this together, and we need solutions to the problems that confront us. More importantly, we need systemic solutions that seek to solve a variety of problems with a single initiative. Anders is here to show us how he's been doing this and how we might do this as well. Anders will be at our house Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of this week before he goes up north for 2 more presentations. If you wish to discuss more with him during this time, speak to him and to me, and we will arrange a time for you to come and visit him here during these 3 days. And that is being funded by me, so you will not have to pay for that consultation. Let us welcome Anders.
Thank you. Today you're going to have 2. You're twice as important. You can clip this on your belt.
How to? That's the way. Let's see if it's working. Yeah.
And you can clip this on your belt.
Yeah. Oh, I can put it in the pocket. Yeah. Oh, this is really fascinating to see so many people gathering in a Saturday when the sun is shining and the waves are coming into the shore here. So I'm so excited. I've never been in such a situation before. To collect so many people in just a part of a home like this. First of all, I want to thank Diane, Carl, Lauder. If you stand up, you're not sitting behind the glass, you perhaps hear better.
Anders, do you want to introduce the person with the sign? Do you want to introduce the person with the sign?
Yeah. I will thank, I included in, yeah.
Right.
I will thank Diane, Carl, and Colette, who host Ingrid and me here in Los Angeles. And we are accepted as family members now, also by the 2 dogs. So we are really happy for that. And I will thank Bruce. We met in the bedroom upstairs 3 months ago. I think this is rather unusual. So when I came back to Sweden, I said they are living in a very special way here in the United States. Most of the meetings takes place in the bedrooms. So that was a new experience, and I'm very happy to see that you are still here, and we can do a lot of things together. Yeah, other things. Yeah, let me start. Is it working?
Yes.
No?
Well, no, why not?
We can advance it here. If you
Yeah?
tell us.
Yeah, push the button, I think. Yeah, that's the beginning. Yeah. What I'm going to preach is what we have been doing for many, many years in our part of Sweden. We call it eco-cycle adapted design. And this is the way we think we need to approach when we start a new project. If it's a new project or a retrofitting of an old building, it's the same possibilities to do something much better than we had done before. So this is our office. When Ingrid and I started to work with our private company, Ingrid, she is always following me, and without her I couldn't be anything. So I really happy to see that she's joining me here. This is when we started our company in 1991. I've been managing director for a big consultant company, and I was really thrown out from the company for I wanted to do eco-cycle adapted projects. And then we decided to start our own company. In order to make the rest of our life, we only will do these type of projects. For the time is running out and we need to do it in another way. And the first thing we did when we started our company was to build an eco-cycle adapted office, just to show people that it's possible to do that. I've been out talking about this for many, many years, and they say, yeah, it's very interesting, but it seems to be more expensive. We have never done it before. It seems to be very complicated, and there is not a market for that. And then we started. The first project the company had was to build the office. We started a couple of months after we had opened the company, and I built all this by myself. It took me 2 years to do that, and it's very important to do these things by yourself. It's a learning procedure if you make all the building structures by yourself. It's an earth-covered house, so it's earth on 3 sides, and it's earth on top of it. And at the south-facing facade is a greenhouse. So we can grow vegetables all year around without any energy than the sun. It's a low-energy project. We need only 6,000 kilowatt hours per year of electric energy, and we are buying it from a windmill just close to the village where we are living. And the house is 1,200 square feet. And we wanted also to show that it was cheap to live in such house. And nowadays it costs us about $300 per month for all costs, for insurance, for plowing in the winter, and all what we need for the building. So this is cheaper than a student's flat in Sweden. The system in the house is that we have the own well in the village for the water. We have a separating toilet, and I come back to this later on, the toilet issue. And we are heating the house, but by using sun energy in the summer. We have sun collectors on the top of the roof, and we have an accumulator inside the building. And in the winter, we are using firewood when it's cold. And now, when we are leaving the house in the winter, the temperature inside the building will never go down lower than 13 centigrades. Also, if we don't have any energy put into the building. So this is really protected of the earth around it. And this is an old-fashioned technique. This is similar to the earth thrillers in Sweden, and in some places in the world, in the United States, in southern part of Europe, they have built similar houses, and also in Africa, in really hot climates. So this is the way we are living. We are sitting in these chairs, just relaxing under this reused sail from a sailing boat. Yeah, next. When I visited school in Boston last week, one of the 5 grades asked me, why are you interested in green architecture? That's a really good question. And the answer I gave him was 3. The first answer was, I read Silent Spring, 1962. And I have been a bird watcher ever since I was small. And I saw the same, what was happening in Sweden. A lot of birds were dying depending on the polluting and the poison that the farmers spread out in the fields. The next, I'm aware of the global problem. And nowadays we are talking a lot about CO2, but I think there is also a lot of other really big problem in the world. And what I'm most worried about is the growing global population. If we go, nowadays we are a little bit more than 6 billion people on the globe. We are living, 3 billion people are living in the cities. If we go back 100 years, when my father was born, we were 1.7 billion people on the globe. At that time, 250 million people were living in cities. If you think what will happen when Colette is about 50 years old, we will be about 10 billion people on the globe. 10 billion people on the globe. And at that time, 75% of the population is living in cities. It means that you young people here, you have a mission. You are going to build homes for 4.5 billion people within 40 to 50 years. 4.5 billion people shall be need to have new homes. And it means about 300,000 people need to have new homes every day during the incoming 40 to 50 years. And this is, for me, the real big problem in the future. Then I'm asking me, how can we arrange for the need of fresh water, the need of energy, the need of food, building material, communication, waste handling? This photo is from Mauritania. Mauritania is in the West Africa and been working there. 98% of the country is a desert. The rainfall, average rainfall during the year is 3 millimeter. 3 millimeter. And they can survive in the desert if they are living in the old-fashioned way. If they can just have dates, goat meat, and camel milk. Then they survive with 3 millimeter of rainfall. But most of the population, they are living in the capital, Nyquest. And this city is planned for 16,000 people. Nowadays, there's living 800,000 people there, and they have no water. They have just an ancient pond under the city, and they are pumping up this water, and it will run off within 10 years. And what to do at that time with fresh water for all these people? And the question I will put forward, how can we educate the young generation to solve these problems? This is the big issue for all of us. And that's the reason why the schools in the future must be related to this way of thinking. The third answer is that we, Ingrid and I, we have children and we have grandchildren. And this is my 2 daughters with their husbands and our 4 grandchildren. And I think this is very important that we think that my generation, have the best opportunities that any generation had had in the history of man. All figures were going up like this. From the Second World War, everything was possible. Now we have reached an edge where we need to think in another way. So our company is working with sustainable projects, only sustainable projects. So if we are asked to make design for a building which will be sustainable, if the client don't want to go as far as we want, then we say no thank you. There are other consultants that can do that work. We are too old for do that, all the mistakes again. We really want to do new mistakes. And we are working with eco-cycle projects. It means that we're trying to close the loops. This is a low energy project with 0 waste. And we are working in close connection with our clients. It means that we are moving to our clients and sitting in their knees when we are making the program for the building. It's a need to have a very close contact with the client. Otherwise, we can't communicate. We can't understand the way they want to have a building. And we also want to be in charge from the first idea all the way through a project down to the maintenance phase. And this